You're watching Mark Sosin's Saltwater Journal.
We're trying to put this right in the shadow line, right among the mangroves. If you make a high cast, you'll hit the leaves, so your cast has to be low and right into it. We've got an island out here. We've got a row of mangroves. On this high water, as the tide keeps coming in, redfish and snook are swimming down along the mangroves looking for food. Small bait fish that'll be in the root systems. And we're trying to throw a bait in there, cut the tail off so it stays in the zone a lot longer, and hopefully some guy cruising down here is going to find it, pick it up, and the fight's on. There he is.
Get him out of there.
He came out. He came out. And you shorten that line right away so that unless he takes drag, he's not getting out of there. Not getting under there, I should say. What I try and do, the minute I feel that line start to tighten, I begin to reel. And then once he's out like this, he's right here. Okay, Seth, that's a nice fish.
Yeah, he's a good one. Nice
yes,
redfish.
Sir.
2 spots on him too.
They're cruising along. You got all this background behind me, these mangroves and trees, and they're cruising under there on this high water, trying to get bait, because there's a lot of bait pushed back up in there. You have so much bait here, Seth. I can't believe all the bait you have.
Yeah, there's tons.
At least right now. I've been here when you try and get white bait and you can go half a morning.
Yeah, it's tough sometimes.
We got a real tight drag on this thing. That's a nice fish.
Yeah, he's got some shoulders on him.
You get that? You want me to try and get it?
Go ahead and get that out there for me if you could.
Find a place to put the rod. Those teeth hurt. There it is. What they have, since we talked about the teeth, what they have is little teeth along here that point backwards. So when they grab a prey, the prey can't escape. Now that's a decent redfish anywhere.
Yeah. Very nice.
You got that blue tail. And a friend of ours, Brad, told me that one of his relatives said that comes when he gets excited. There's a chemical reaction in the body of the fish, and it causes that tail to turn blue.
That's a lot of fish are like that.
They are.
I would, especially the migratory fish.
Yep.
They really light up when they get excited.
In the water. They got those wide pectoral fins. Gives them maneuverability, a big brush tail.
You can see him out right now.
That's how they maneuver. There he goes. He wants to go.
Right back towards the bushes.
You know, people would drive by here in a boat and look, and it just looks like a shoreline. And most people would just pass it by. Yep. And you have to know.
You do. You can hit, I mean, this whole shoreline looks the same. There's just a little drop-offs, little deeper water. It's what you got to look for to find these spots that are holding the fish.
And you can sure find them. Anglers take advantage of the shallow flats on the shoulder of the channel at the river mouth to pursue redfish. All you have to do is cast a bait with a float, and it won't be long before a hungry redfish chases it. Barely got it out there, and that float went down. He's running with the current sweeping in the river, coming out of the Gulf into the river. And I just reeled, and he was there. Actually, I turned my head, I looked back, the float was gone. I just started reeling. That's all you gotta do. This feels pretty good.
That's another good thing about the floats. If you're not paying attention, you don't feel them, they eat it, come to you, look up and your float's down.
Yep.
All you gotta do is start reeling. Just catch up to them.
That's the toughest thing to teach people. They all want to turn the boat over setting the hook.
Yeah.
I think the bass guys started that.
That's it, the TV bass man.
You know, you got to turn, whoa, son, I mean son. And all I do is reel. You know, when I started, Roland and Bill Dance and I all had the same cameramen. They would tell me stories about those two, and I always wondered what they told them about me. You know, it's a question of working this fish, and I use side pressure. Pull them one way, pull them the other way, just tilt here and here until I lead them in, and it's just shorter and shorter arcs, back and forth. Push sideways, gain a little more. Seth, I use my basic rig wherever I go. Start with a Bimini twist because that gives me 100% knot strength. And then I come into a no-name knot there. If you would hold that. I'm using 30-pound Mamoy fluorocarbon down here and a red Daiichi hook down on the bottom with a loop knot. Now, when we fish in some places like under the mangroves, you don't use a float.
No, I don't. I like to keep the float off when we're fishing under the mangroves because what we're doing is skipping the baits up under there, letting them fall to the bottom. Most of the time we're using cut bait, so we want it on the bottom.
Right.
Using a float tends to pull the bait away from the mangroves where the fish are.
And it makes it drift faster when the tide is moving. But out here, over these flats, you want that bait to stay above the bottom. We put a float on and just pop one on there if you would for me. Good thing you have teeth.
It is.
You wouldn't be able to cut bait and you wouldn't be able to put a cork in. And that's it, and he'll adjust the distance above the hook.
According to the depth of the water, how fast the water's moving.
Right, and there it is. And that's your basic rig, and you can come out here with live white bait and fish almost any of these areas and catch fish.
You can. I like to use this rig with the bobber on a grass flat like this. It keeps the bait out of the grass, and it also, when a fish comes around, the bait's going to try to get away. He's trying to go into the grass. The bobber's going to make him turn sideways, flash, and then often tends to trigger a strike. So
it's a neat system. It's very simple. It's very basic, and it works. Bring them down to port side.
It's like another nice redfish.
Yes, sir. These are all school fish. There's a whole school out there. You ready?
Ready.
I'm gonna just drag them over to you. There's that hook.
This one's a little beefier.
He got some weight to him.
Yeah. It's a nice fish there, right in the corner of the mouth.
Yeah, I started to say that we're using very small hooks. And the reason is we have small baits. And when you have small baits, you want that bait to be able to swim. Good move. Takes pliers. They have such a rubbery mouth. It's so tough in there. And they'll take crabs, they'll take crustaceans, they'll take anything and just crush down on it. And it doesn't affect them at all. Eat a fish with sharp fins, crush down, that's it. Okay.
It's amazing to see him come out of the water to
Yep.
eat a bait on top.
Incredible fish. That's a nice one. Put them in the water. You getting ready?
The water's nice and cool now.
Yeah.
So it doesn't take long for
That makes a
him.
big difference. Cool water makes a big difference in survival rates. In the middle of the summer, we won't keep them out very long. But in the fall, when the water's cooler, you can keep them out an extra minute or so.
Oh, you ready for another one?
Boy, I'll tell you what, the action just never quits. Captain Seth Leto grew up in Tarpon Springs and spent more time than most fishing and exploring the Anclote River and its surrounding waters. His knowledge for finding fish is outstanding, and Seth is a nice guy to fish with. When he points to a spot and says there should be a redfish there, you can count on a hookup in a minute or two. You got something, Seth. You gotta come tight, and then you just move the rod a little bit, and that fish is on. Come on, baby.